This video comes to us by request from someone whose name I did not get permission to use. This one's for you. Jalen Hurts. Now to my Alabama kin, this man needs no introduction. Few states appreciate football as much as Alabama, yet they do not have an NFL team and seem to prefer it that way, instead rallying their support behind their Alabama Crimson Tide. The irony being that many of the people rooting for the college team probably never attended college, but I digress. This man is a fan favorite in BAMA, even garnering a standing ovation when he entered the Senior Bowl in Mobile, although that game didn't go exactly as planned. A 4-star recruit coming out of high school, he quickly became the first true freshman quarterback to start a game under Nick Saban. While accuracy has never particularly been his strong suit, protecting the football has, as in 2017 when he threw 17 touchdowns to just 1 interception. Unfortunately, the former is where his limitations lie, which is why he was replaced by Tua in the 2017 National Championship game at halftime. But that is where he demonstrated some of his most admirable traits, the ones that may just get him drafted, his intangibles. Everywhere he's been, he's conducted himself with professionalism and poise. So while he may not blow you away with his arm talent, he makes up for it with his intangibles and mobility. It should be pointed out that he is at his absolute best when he's able to use his legs. When defenses have to devote an extra man to defending the run, it opens up wider windows, allowing him to throw without having to squeeze too many into tight coverage. Whatever team takes him has to be prepared to incorporate his legs if they hope to make him successful. With that being said, let's dive into his top 5 NFL fits. Number 5. The Dallas Cowboys. Now while this may surprise some, it shouldn't. I've seen him compared to Tyrod Taylor, but I don't think that's accurate because he's not that accurate. To me, he is more akin to a Dak Prescott. And Dallas has shown they can win with that. And they retained Kellen Moore, who now has a season of experience working with a quarterback of that skill set. And they don't seem fully sold on Dak, as they still haven't come to terms on a contract extension. Jalen, a Texas native, would be a great fit for the organization as he comes with the natural leadership and professionalism most franchises expect out of their quarterbacks. And for a team like the Cowboys, who find themselves in the national spotlight more than any other team, they need a quarterback who can handle themselves accordingly. Jalen is no stranger to bright lights and big stages, and although he's technically from Houston, what kid from Texas doesn't want to be a Cowboy? Number 4. The New England Patriots. Gasp! I know. The thought of anyone other than another precision passer taking the place of the great Tom Brady sounds absolutely ridiculous, but hear me out. Remember what I said about Hurts' intangibles? Would you believe that the reason cited by Bill Belichick and the Patriots organization for why they drafted Tom Brady was actually not his passing acumen, but his intangibles? That's right. They were enamored with the mental fortitude of this undersized kid who overcame adversity and came in clutch in the right moments. From battling to keep his starting job at Michigan over another highly touted prospect that Michigan's head coach was trying to keep from switching to baseball full-time, to helping Michigan storm back from a 14-point deficit late in the third quarter of the 2000 Orange Bowl, then throwing a touchdown pass in overtime that helped seal the win over a strong Alabama team. Then, of course, he fell in the draft before finally getting selected by the Patriots. The young man showed poise, courage, and commitment. Jalen Hurts is similar to Brady in that way. To be the starting quarterback that led your team to a national championship game only to get benched for a freshman and then return the following season as the backup and maintain that professional attitude, that takes mental toughness. Maybe the Pats will fall in love with that the way they did with Brady. Additionally, it helps having an offensive mastermind like Josh McDaniels aboard to aid in the development of Jalen, as Josh has found success with unlikely candidates before. He was the one that oversaw Tim Tebow getting drafted to Denver, and Kyle Orton's 2009 season was statistically one of the best of his career. Number 3. The Tennessee Titans. I know. The Titans just re-upped on Ryan Tannehill's contract, effectively turning the state into Tennessee. But nothing is set in stone, and it's never a bad idea to have someone getting groomed in the wings. Aside from that, the Titans are well coached, led by the hard-nosed yet beloved Mike Vrabel, whose coaching style really seems to resonate with his players. He's joined by offensive coordinator Arthur Smith, who's entering his second season as offensive coordinator and coming off a season where his offense, led by Ryan Tannehill, rocked and rolled their way all the way to the AFC Championship game. While Tanny is a better pure passer, mobility is a trait shared with Jalen Hurts, and definitely was one of the reasons the offense was as successful as it was. And let's not forget Tennessee's quarterback coach, Pat O'Hara, whose guidance led Marcus Mariota to a single-season franchise record of a 68.9 completion percentage in 2018. Mariota also finished the year with a career-best average in yards per attempt, 357 rushing yards, and a career-low 8 interceptions. Not to mention, O'Hara was the quarterback coach for a Houston Texans team that became the first NFL team since 1950 to earn a trip to the postseason, with 4 different starting quarterbacks winning at least one regular season game. This would be a great environment for a developmental quarterback prospect to grow and prosper. Number 2. The Jacksonville Jaguars. I'm sure this one comes across as a head scratcher, but bear with me. Aside from Gardner Minshew, any idea who else inhabits Jacksonville's quarterback room? Give up? It's former Pittsburgh Steeler backup Joshua Dobbs. And while it's neat that outside of football, Dobbs is a rather intriguing character that majored in aerospace engineering and spent his NFLPA externship working with NASA, in terms of being an NFL quarterback, he's entering his 4th year with a whopping 43 yards to his name and a completion percentage of 50%. It would not hurt to add another arm to the room. And while Hurts lacks Gardner Minshew's accuracy, he actually does match up pretty closely athletically, and could provide the team a solid backup whom they wouldn't have to change the game plan drastically to accommodate. Not to mention, like most of the teams on this list, Jacksonville provides a great situation for development as the coaching staff is anchored by former head coaches Jay Gruden as the offensive coordinator and Ben McAdoo as the quarterback coach. Say what you will about their head coaching records, but both of those gentlemen have fairly extensive resumes and have proven to be good at their respective jobs. The former having been Cincy's offensive coordinator from 2011 to 2013, during which the Bengals had 3 consecutive postseason berths averaging 10 wins per season. All the while, the offense steadily improved in points per game all 3 years, rising from 18th in the league to 12th to 6th. And the latter had the distinct opportunity of coaching 2 Super Bowl winning quarterbacks in Eli Manning and Aaron Rodgers. And in 2013, despite losing Rodgers to a broken collarbone, the Packers offense still finished the season ranked 3rd in the NFL and 6th in passing yards. Trust me, Hurts would be in good hands here. Now before we get to my number 1 team, I just want to remind you to like, subscribe, and ding the bell so that you don't miss new videos when they drop. I mean, shit, you've made it this far. So there's gotta be something you like about it. And oh yeah, honorable mentions. The Atlanta Falcons. Just look at that roster and tell me that wouldn't be some fun. The Los Angeles Rams. Eager to see what Sean McVay could do with this quarterback. The Seattle Seahawks. Backup quarterback has been a revolving door for a while now. This young man could provide some stability. The Minnesota Vikings, because why not? And the New Orleans Saints. Sean Payton's a mad genius who apparently thinks Taysom Hill's gonna be Steve Young. Maybe he'll think Jalen Hurts is gonna be Warren Moon. And finally, number 1, the Buffalo Bills. More shock and awe. Josh Allen is coming off his second season of being the least accurate quarterback in the NFL. Nothing against the man, it is what it is. But even if he were not to be supplanted, who's his backup? Matt Barkley? The last time we saw him on the field, he did very little to make a case for himself as a safe alternative should anything happen to Allen. All that aside, this is a well-coached team. Sean McDermott is a defensive-minded head coach and runs his team as such. They have a strong belief in minimizing turnovers and mistakes akin to the way Nick Saban has run Alabama. Their quarterback coach, Ken Dorsey, previously held the same position with the Carolina Panthers for 5 years, including the 2015 Super Bowl run that saw Cam Newton named MVP. To suffice, this was Cam Newton's positional coach during the Super Cam form that he has yet to return to. But probably the biggest reason Jalen Hurts would be such a great fit here would be their offensive coordinator, Brian Daboll. Remember how I said Jalen Hurts led Alabama to a national championship in 2017? Well, the offensive coordinator and quarterback coach for Alabama that season was none other than, you guessed it, Brian Daboll. Under his guidance, Alabama's offense scored in 49 consecutive quarters, marking the NCAA's longest streak since 2005. And Bama led the Southeastern Conference in scoring offense with over 37 points per game, and finishing 4th in total offense. Now sure, Jalen Hurts was benched halfway through the national championship game, but Daboll coached him to a glorious regular season. Did I mention he only threw 1 interception that year? Now he's coming off a season at Oklahoma where he was coached up by Lincoln I got 2 quarterbacks drafted first overall Riley, and would be coming to Daboll a much better passer than he last saw. I'm confident the reunion would produce results. But that's all I have for you this time. I want to take this moment to remind you to like, subscribe, and ding the bell so that you stay up to date on all the videos. Make sure you share it and spread the word. Be careful, bitches, and thanks for watching.